Hello, New Bedford. Welcome back to Innovate and Educate. I'm Dr. Matthew X. Joseph, Assistant Superintendent of Technology and Learning, and I am thrilled to embark on this exciting journey with all of you. My goal with this show is to take a deep dive into innovation, where every innovative idea makes big waves. So in our third episode, today I want to talk about enhancing critical thinkers. Really talking about teaching our students how to think, not what to think. Engagement, application, and collaboration are skills that withstand the test of time. Critical thinking prepares our students to think for themselves for the rest of their lives. Critical thinkers are less likely to go along with the crowd because they think for themselves. So, we ask all of our educators to be future ready, or we're teaching for jobs that don't exist yet. I've heard that so many times. These are powerful statements, but at the same time, they give teachers the impression that we have to change what we're doing. So, how do we plan for education for an unknown job market or unknown needs? Well, let me tell you, we can't predict the jobs, but whatever they are, students will need to think critically to do whatever that job is. So, our role as educators is to teach our students how to think, not what to think. Now, helping students become critical thinkers is important. Our role in education is to empower our students to be critical thinkers. To develop critical thinkers, educators must provide students with the needed strategies to ask more than just surface level questions. So our questions to our students must motivate them to search for background knowledge. In addition, they should inspire them to make connections to real-world scenarios. You can also do this at home when you're talking to students at dinner or at any time through the day, asking these types of questions. Well, these types of questions make learning more memorable and meaningful. Critical thinking, in general terms, is a means for students to effectively identify, analyze, and evaluate content or skills. In this process, the students will discover and present convincing reasoning supporting their own answers and their own thinking. So as educators, we must continue to promote thinking skills in lesson development and all the activities that our students do. Some essential skills that are really the basis for critical thinking are communication and information skills, thinking and problem-solving skills, of course, interpersonal and self-directional skills, and one that's really important to me, collaboration, and getting those skills into our students. So students will need these 4 skills in any field and at any level of education. Hence, we need to teach our students to think critically and again, for themselves, becoming independent learners. So one of the goals in education is to prepare students to learn through discovery. Providing opportunities to practice being critical thinkers will assist our students in analyzing others' thinking and examining the logic of others. Understanding others is an essential skill in the collaboration that I spoke about and in their everyday life. Critical thinking will allow students to do more than just memorize knowledge or content. So some questions that you can ask. So, how do we do this? One recommendation is for our work in-depth questioning strategies into a lesson launch. Ask thoughtful questions to allow for answers with, sound reasoning. We want our students to give that. Then, with conversation and communication, will shape how our students think. Quick answers often result in very few words and really no eye contact. We don't want that. We want to promote that eye contact and really letting students think for themselves. When you're asking students questions and they provide a solution, try some of these to promote further thinking. These questions will push our students. For example, please elaborate further on that point. Or, will you express that point in another way? And can you give me an example of that illustration? How about, please give me an example? Then students will have to think for themselves. Or even, will you provide more detail? Could you be more specific? Do we need to consider another point of view? Is there another way to look at this question? All of those questions will prompt students' thinking, and utilizing critical thinking skills is a chance that the students will be able to teach and learn in this new paradigm. Engagement in education will enhance the collaboration among teachers and students. It will also provide a way for students to succeed even if the school system has to shift over time. Promoting these critical thinking aspects and skills will improve our instruction. Alignment, engagement, application, and collaboration are skills that will withstand the test of time. I really also like to promote the integration of critical thinking into every aspect of instruction and definitely of innovation. In my experience, I've found a few ways to really make this happen in real time. We can begin our lessons or units with probing questions. This question should be something that is not a yes or no answer. Instead, the question should inspire students to discover more about what they're learning about. Another one very important is encourage creativity. I've often seen classrooms prepare projects before giving their students time to think. So doing the design work or cutting out all the shapes beforehand for our students, it removes their creative opportunities. So think about that. It may help our classroom run more smoothly if every child's material is already cut out, but then every student's project looks the same. Students don't have to think or really problem solve if it's done for them. Think about this. Not having everything glue ready in advance is a good thing. So instead of giving students all the supplies that they need to create a project, let them do the thinking and then design independently the project for them to complete with their own voice and their own ideas. Number 3, empower independence. Giving students freedom will allow students to become critical thinkers because they will have to create their own projects with the supplies that you give them. Really try not to jump in to help too fast. Let the students work through their issues. That's called productive struggle. That allows them to think and build that grit. And number 4, build opportunities for students to find connections in the learning. Encourage students to connect to real life situations and identify patterns is a great way to practice their own critical thinking skills. Using these real world scenarios will increase rigor, it'll increase relevance, and of course will increase their critical thinking. So a few other techniques to encourage our educators, our families to use analogies. This really gets students to think outside the traditional step-by-step process. Promote interaction among other students. That gets that student discourse. Ask open-ended questions. This allows students to give their own answers. Allow reflection time, because that's thinking. Use real life problems, and allow for thinking practice. This will help all of our students build that skill. So thank you for joining us. Remember to follow New Bedford Innovation at NBPS Innovates on X for the latest updates and behind-the-scenes content. So we'll see you next time on Innovate and Educate. Thanks for joining us on this voyage of discovery. Keep exploring, and remember, every big idea starts with a splash and ends making a whale of a difference.